Hi, my name is Nikolai Sponholtz, and I wanted to do a tutorial on how to play Introduction by Josh Turner. You'll have to bear with me because I've never done a tutorial video before, but I've watched a hell of a lot of them on YouTube. That's basically, how I learned how to play music over the past 10, 12 years. So how hard could it be, right? I learned how to play Josh Turner's Introduction not long after he put his song out. I obviously have to learn it on the 6-string because I don't have a 12-string guitar. So my rendition sounds a little bit different than his does, but I looked closely at his finger-picking pattern, and I think it sounds really close to the 12-string version that he does. So if you have a 6-string guitar, you're in luck. So I'll do a quick demo as to what the song sounds like, the way that I play it on a 6-string, and after a demo, I'll dive a little bit deeper into how to play the song itself. So here's a quick demo on how I play Introduction by Josh Turner. And that's how you play it. So the way that my guitar is tuned is it's basically a D sus2 chord, which basically means that you're going to be dropping the low E down to a D. Then you have A, D, E, A, D. So if you put your, if you put your middle finger 2nd fret 3rd string, nice open D major chord. that drops it down to the sus2. I like to play with capo on the 2nd fret because I think this guitar sounds good that way. I know Josh records it on the 3rd fret, but it's really up to you. Sometimes I go all the way up to the 4th fret. Depends on your mood, but for consistency, I'll go ahead and demo it in the same key that I just played it in. So you're essentially going to start off with, well, I guess to break down the song, there are really 3 main sections of the song. Section 1, I'm going to go ahead and call the intro section, or the lead, if you will. It's a section that sounds like this. That section. Section 2 sounds like this. It's kind of like the inner, like a bridge or something like that. That section. And then the 3rd section is, I really guess this, like the 3rd section is more of the bridge. It's the one that goes. So let's learn them one by one. Section 1 starts off like this. So to break that down nice and slow, this first section, and really a whole lot of the song, but especially this first section, has a huge amount of really amazing melodies that happen via pull-offs and, slides down, slides up the neck, hammer-ons, that kind of thing. So if you're unfamiliar with those kinds of techniques, maybe try a different song first, or take the song really nice and slow. But essentially you're gonna start here, and for the record, since I have my capo on the 2nd fret, I'm just gonna go ahead and, say that's the nut of the guitar, and everything above that, I'm just gonna go ahead and call like 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, etc. So you're gonna go ahead and start with your ring finger on the 7th fret of the 2nd string, and then your index on the just two frets down on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. And with your right hand, you're gonna hit the bass note, so the low D string, and then this 2nd string at the same time, and you're gonna basically pull off from your ring finger. So nice and easy. And I'll try to see if I can't zoom in a little bit more here as well, so you can have a little bit of a better angle as to actually what I'm playing. So here we go. So that next section, once you pull off, your ring finger is just going to slide to the 3rd string here. And then you're going to pluck the 3rd string, slide down. Wonderful sirens. You're going to slide down with the 3rd on the 3rd string, and then pluck the 2nd string. So it's going to sound like this. So you're actually doubling up on this note here, which is kind of getting that same effect as the 12-string guitar that Josh has. You can even pull off and try to hit that that high E string if you want to even kind of get more of that doubling. And then the next section goes, so from the top. So you're gonna have your your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and you're gonna go ahead and slide up like this. So slide up, hit the root, and then your index finger is gonna go right here on the 3rd fret of the 3rd string. So and then you're gonna slide back down again. So nice and slow. And make sure that you're actually keeping that note as you slide up and down throughout this entire section, because it's not like you're, you know, you're actually trying to actually land someplace. So from the top, nice and slow. And then the first time that you're actually changing chords here, your index finger is going to go on the 5th fret of the low D string, and then your ring finger is going to go here on the 3rd string, but same fret. So, and this is when your thumb begins to oscillate the octaves or the fifths. So you're gonna go. So another hammer on here. So you're gonna hammer on with your pinky on the 3rd string where your index finger currently is. So if you can kind of see that. And you'll notice that my thumb is oscillating here. Between the low D string and I guess it's the 4th string, which is the other D string. So, and then your next chord is going to be up here, which is going to be the minor 6. So you're going to have your index finger on the 5th fret. I'm sorry, index finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. And then your middle finger is going to be on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. And that's just going to be like the minor 3rd that you're hitting. So one more time from the top. One more time. And just in case it helps for you to, I don't know, maybe it helps to see from this angle too, but. I wish I had a better camera placement, but I hope my explanations are coming through. I'd recommend that you slow it down nice and gently so that you can just practice that motion over and over again. I guess the response to that is then so what that sounds like is, again, you're going up here to this chord, which is what we just played. But then instead of going up here to that minor, you're gonna go, and then I like to put my thumb here. So nice little walk down. The shape that you're gonna have is your thumb is gonna be here on the 4th fret. Your ring finger is gonna be on the 5th fret. So your thumb is gonna grab this low D string, and your ring finger is gonna be on the 5th fret of the 3rd string. And then here, you'll notice that like when I actually pluck this, I'm plucking the ring, or I'm plucking both of the notes that my fingers are on here, being the 3rd and the 6th string. And then as my thumb rolls over here, I'm actually taking my ring finger and my middle finger, and I'm getting those high notes. So And then slide that whole shape down 1 fret. So. And then that last little bit, you actually kind of have to roll it. So it sounds like this. And then you're ending with that, with your ring, with your middle finger on the high E string here. So. So one more time from the top. And then you do that same thing, basically the same thing. So. The only difference there is that, like, I'll throw in one more doubling of these notes. So the second time that I actually start that phrase again, I go. So one more little note there. Just adds a little bit of extra flair. And then the last time that you run through this, and that really is just one big walk down. So it goes. So if you're looking at what my fingers are doing, it's just on this one low E string or low D string. Wow, I guess high E string, high D string. You're gonna have your index, your pinky on the 4th fret, index here on the 2nd fret, and you're just gonna pull off. And then 2nd fret of the 2nd string, pull off, and then on the high E string again. And then that last chord is just basically one big power chord. You're gonna have your index finger here on the 5th fret of the 2nd string, or 5th fret of the 3rd string. So one more time, all the way from the top, it's. And that's basically the intro. And then you basically roll through that whole section one more time, but this time the finger picking gets way more complicated. So practice that first section first. Make sure that you know exactly how the shapes in your left hand are supposed to go. And then I would recommend probably coming back to this section. But if you're ready to learn this section, let's go ahead and dive on in too. What differentiates the second time that you run through section 1 is your picking pattern over here is really the biggest change. So you go, so this is what it sounds like in comparison. So you'll notice that my thumb is oscillating between the low E string, or the low D string and the high D string a good amount, or between the A string and the D string a good amount too, because that's really what drives the song forward, that oscillating bass line. Other notes, I do add a couple extra fillers in there, so I'll really slowly walk you through the intro section here too. So right from the get-go, the thumb starts to oscillate. So I'll break this down really nice and slow. So that first section goes exactly that same pull off, but already your thumb is coming here to the high D, and you're pulling, and you're also plucking this high D string as well. So nice and slow. And then you're still making that same, I guess, rundown with your with your ring finger here. But that timing is really crucial. So you have to be hitting that that 5th fret, sliding from the 7th to the 5th. And as you're hitting that 5th fret, you're hitting that low D string as well. So here's what it sounds like, nice and slow. And then you're finishing off with, you're basically just plucking these strings, the 2nd string, and then you're plucking the 2nd string individually, and then the 3rd and 4th strings together, because that's like a nice power chord there too. So nice and slowly. Oops. And then the next section, oops. So right there, I'm oscillating between the low D and the A string. Those are the bass notes. So it goes. So similar thing there, as you slide down, you have to be making sure that you're sliding from the 4th fret to the 2nd fret. And then as you hit that 2nd fret is when you come back, oscillating back to the A string. So nice and slow. So again, from the top of the 2nd time through. And then so that section is actually pretty straightforward. You have to just make sure that you're oscillating your thumb. So same chord shape, and then up here. And then basically there, I'm just like, I'm still oscillating my bass line. So you have to make sure that the melody is matching up to the bass line itself, is basically what I'm trying to say. Nice and slow, I would recommend that you try to just play this out yourself. So what I'm doing is, I'm playing that chord, so the 5th and the 3rd string are played together. Bass line oscillates to the 4th string, and then that's just kind of the arpeggio that happens. So, and you kind of swing it a little bit too throughout the section. As you begin to play it more, you'll understand like how to swing it a little bit more as you go. So, from the top. That's also pretty straightforward. All you're doing is adding a couple extra notes in there. You basically just arpeggiate the whole thing. So. You'll notice my thumb is constantly just oscillating between those bass notes. And then. that's basically how you end that second run through as well. So from the top of section 1, it goes like this. And that's basically the entirety of section 1. Now, moving on to section 2, that's the section that starts like this. So that's section 2. It's actually a lot more straightforward than section 1. All you have to make sure is that you remember what those chord shapes look like. And there's a little bit of additional picking that your thumb does as well. But starting us off, you slide up here with your middle finger from the 2nd fret to the 4th fret of the high string. And then the chord shape you're going to have is your index finger is going to be on the 2nd fret of the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and then your ring finger here is going to be on the 5th fret of the 3rd string. And then you're basically going to be still oscillating the entire time with this like low bass note type thing from the low D string to the high D string. So it's going to go. So that picking pattern is. And then at the end, you have to kind of with your thumb pick that a little bit too. So one more time. And then the next chord shape is exactly like a D major shape. In case you're unfamiliar, it's the index is on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, the ring finger is on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and then the middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. So. And really make sure that you're hitting those like the 2nd and the 3rd string. Like that cacophony kind of makes it beautiful. So make sure that those are really ringing true then. And then the 3rd chord shape that you're going to take is, and this is kind of when the finger picking pattern starts to change a little bit. You're going to have your index finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. You're going to have your ring finger on the 4th fret of the 5th string, and you're going to have your middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 3rd string. So, and this is actually a really important chord to know the shape of because it actually comes up in the outro too. So the 3rd chord shape, and this is kind of when the finger picking pattern changes a little bit too. So you're gonna hit. So you're just gonna hit when you oscillate to the next thumb shape. You're just gonna hit the 3rd, 4th, and 5th strings together, and And then the other string that you're hitting is just the open second string. And you're just hammering on here to the second fret of the third string. And you're really just, that's just the D major chord right there. And those notes that you're hitting are, you're oscillating between the low Ds, so the low D and the high D, and then that is just the open second string. So that's the first half of section 2. Second section goes like this. That chord is a little bit on the challenging side too. So you go, it's going to be your ring finger, your ring finger on the 4th fret of the 4th string, your middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and then your index finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string, with the 3rd string completely open. That next chord is going to be, so you're going to shift your ring finger down by 1 to the 3rd fret of the 4th string. Your pinky is going to come up here to the 4th fret of the 3rd string, and then your top 2 fingers up here. So you're actually going to bar the 2nd fret of the 1st and 2nd string. So that your middle finger can come in there and hit the 3rd fret of the 1st string. So that's what the whole chord's supposed to sound like. And then the good news is you just shift that whole entire chord shape down 1 fret, but you keep your middle finger on there so that your middle finger just kind of stays on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. So really, really nice and close. It goes like this. So a little bit of a cacophonous sound there, but in the line of the melody, it sounds really beautiful. So from the very top, just to kind of recap everything. And then the last chord that you hit is that one that I told you to remember, the one up here. It was actually the same kind of ending chord of the bar just before this. So again, ring finger 4th fret of the 5th string, index finger 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and then ring finger 3rd fret of the 3rd string. And then your pinky finger slides all the way up here to the 5th fret of the 1st string. So nice and slowly, that last chord of the second section is. And then just kind of leave that there, hanging in the air for a brief moment. And then you're right back into your first section again. And I like to actually slide up with where my ring finger currently is right now on the 3rd fret of the 3rd string. It's like a nice little, right back into that second section. So one more time from the very start of the second section. back into the first section again. Except that time around, I actually kind of like to arpeggiate that walk down. So getting back into the first section again, basically the only change that I do is, you're ending here. And then it's really important that you come back with energy. And then so that little bit there goes, you're essentially taking that exact same chord shape. And then, so yeah, you're just like arpeggiating that little bit. And then that last note that's important to have in the bass is actually the A. So, and then that last little flourish that I do at the end is like pretty similar to the one that we actually end with in the first one, in the first section one. So. So what you're gonna do is hammer on from the second to the fourth string, and then pull off both of those. Pull off on the second string, second fret, and then pull, slide up on the third fret, from the third fret to the fifth fret on the third string. So one more time, it goes. So from the top of the second section, it sounds like this. And then you end the second time that you run through the first section exactly the same way that you end it previously. And then that's the point where we get into the third section, which is kind of the bridge of the song. And that section goes, so the chord shape you're gonna have is, so you're really just gonna slide all the way from like where the nut or capo is. The chord shape is, you're gonna have your index finger on the fifth fret of the sixth string, and then you're gonna have your ring finger on the seventh fret of the third string. And essentially the chords that you're playing is, so again, I can do this with two fingers. You're gonna slide one half step down with your index finger to the fourth fret, and then one whole step down with your ring finger. So, and then the last one is just like the open D major chord with your ring finger on the second fret of the third string. But what makes this nice is when you actually begin to arpeggiate it like that. So you slide all the way up. Here's what the picking pattern looks like. You slide all the way up here with both of those, and then your thumb's going to continue to oscillate back and forth. But there's actually a lot happening down here with your middle finger and your ring finger on your right hand. So you slide all the way up, plucking both the sixth and the third string. So I hit the second string, and then simultaneously I'm hitting the first and the fourth string with my ring finger and my thumb. So nice and slow. And then that section, that's the second part of that goes, and then immediately I slide that whole step down with my ring finger and that half step down with my index. So over here. So I'm hitting both those notes. And then sliding all the way down to that third chord down here. It happens pretty quick, so take it nice and slow in the beginning. Make sure that you're getting the picking pattern correctly, really nice and slowly. Again, it goes. So those are individual and then together. And you do that 3 times. So from the top of section 3 it goes. And then the last little section it goes. So all you're doing is you're adding your index finger to the first fret of the 5th string. And you're just, you know, you're hitting the 5th and you're basically oscillating between the 5th and the 4th string with your thumb. And so I'm plucking the 5th, the 3rd and the 2nd string. But whatever you think sounds best. So I basically just go, I hit the 5th and the 3rd string together, and then so 5th and 3rd string together, 6th or 1st and 2nd string together, and then I just slide one, or I go 1 up with my index to my ring finger here, so, or my index to my middle finger. Sorry, this is getting complicated, but I hope you guys can hear what I'm doing. And then it basically does the same thing again. But that ending is different. Actually, no, I'm sorry. The second time, it actually comes back up here. And I'm actually putting my pinky on the same fret, the 7th fret of the 2nd string. So from the top, here's what it sounds like. And then so that second time, it basically just goes, and then right back up again. But there's that note there, that pinky finger on the 7th fret of the 2nd string. And then that last little section goes, I like to pluck the A string and the D string at the same time, but I've got my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D string here, of the 4th string. So I go, and then end on that power chord again with my middle finger on the 5th fret of the 3rd string. So take that nice and slow, and you'll get it in no time. Then you run through that section one more time, and it sounds extremely similar. And then that last chord that I hit here is So I'm actually muting the low D note with my thumb here on the left. And then that chord is, I've got my index finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. I've got my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 3rd string, and then my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. And that's also an energetic chord that you have to hit really nice and hard, because that leads right into section 1 again. So section 3, from the very, very top, it sounds like this. And then you're right back into section 1 again. Not a huge amount of changes about section 1. It sounds just pretty similar. I like to do just like one big strum there at the end, and then kind of lead off with that 3rd string. And then the very last bit is you play section 2 one more time, and then there's an outro section. So then you stay here. So rather than going to any different kinds of chords there, you just stay there for the very, very last 8th chord there. And then there's the outro that goes like this. So that chord that you would have gone to at the very end of section 2, you actually just slide that exact same chord down one shape. So here's what it's gonna look like. This is basically the chord that I told you, remember, from earlier, but one entire fret slid down. So you're gonna have your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, your index finger on the 1st fret of the 4th string, the middle D, and then you're going to have your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. So this is what it's going to sound like. And then you're going to have your index finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret, ring finger, 3rd string, 3rd fret. And then slide down, basically exactly one chord shape, but you're going to have a little bit of a melody going on here with your ring finger and your pinky. So you're gonna go. So you're basically just going from the 3rd fret to this, from the 2nd fret to the 3rd fret on the 3rd string there. And you'll notice I keep oscillating my thumb on the bass notes. And then just that major, which is the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. And then same exact thing. And by the way, the chord pattern, or the picking pattern here, you're just going from that string to the other one. slowing down nice and slowly there, playing it one more time, and then the last chord that you end on, index finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and then your pinky finger is going to be on the 4th fret of the 1st string. So one more time from the very, very top, here is Introduction by Josh Turner. So that is how you play Josh Turner's Introduction. I hope this was helpful. I hope you have a great time learning it. I'm sorry if there were some sections that I wasn't quite so clear. This is the first time that I'm doing a how-to video or an intro to how to play a song. But yeah, I hope this was helpful. Happy learning, and let me know if you have any questions. I'll see if I can't answer all of them as much as I can in the comments. So thanks a lot. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and look out for more videos. Take care.